The doors to the Viridian Tea House are open once more. Hello everyone, good to see you again. And I gotta use my props. Welcome to Viridian Tea House. If you're new to this YouTube channel, welcome. I have been doing this crazy stuff for well over a year now, and I love it. I really do. I get a chance to read some incredible books, try out some fantastic teas, and share it with you guys. There might be somebody out there who's like, wow, I really want to check out that book that she was talking about, or wow, I really want to try that tea that she consumed. But welcome. And to all of those who have been watching me since the very beginning, or the longtime watchers, thank you so much for just sticking with me. Thank you. Well, I got a lot to talk about today. So without further ado, let's begin. So a little bit of news. I have been confirmed yet again as a tea and book vendor at the Magic Makers Market in Denver. Woo! This will be my third time with them, and I'll tell you something, I'm really enjoying the vibe of the event. People there have been super friendly. I've had some incredible conversations with folks. It's just been wonderful. So I'm very happy to be returning. I will put information on the video, but it is February 25th at the Ant Life Space in Denver, and the hours are 11 to 4. Once again, for the February Denver Magic Makers Market, it's February 25th from 11 to 4. So if you're in the area, or you live in Denver, or you're looking for something new to do, check us out. It really is a lot of fun. I guarantee it. So the next bit of news was this past Saturday, I was a vendor at the Stanley Health and Wellness Expo at the Stanley Marketplace in Aurora. I'd never been to the Stanley Marketplace before. I'd heard a lot about it, but I was like, okay, new adventure. I actually had to cancel out of Cosign, but I ended up doing this event instead, so it was a win. And if you've never been to Stanley Marketplace before, but you live in the area, I highly recommend going. It is this cool hipster mall kind of shopping thing where they have a Salvador Dali exhibit. They've got all kinds of food. They have a grocery store. They have, what else? Different clothing stores, different local producing stores, and also a liquor store, which was really, really nice. They had a great selection. Yeah, they did. But much thanks to those who put the event on. And I truly had a blast. It was nice to talk with people and just kind of check out a new venue. And I also want to give a shout out to the woman who had the booth to the right of me. That was Laura, and she is the owner of Greens Gone Wild. If you are looking for a really good vegan protein bar, you cannot go wrong with Greens Gone Wild. In fact, let's see, so far she has 2 flavors out. There's a third one coming. There's one that's peanut butter banana. There's one, which is my favorite now, is the blueberry coconut. I really like the blueberry coconut, Laura, if you're watching this. But yeah, it's Greens Gone Wild, and I'll be putting her information up on this video as well. So if you're looking for a new protein bar and it's made with spinach and just good for you feelings and ingredients, you cannot go wrong with Greens Gone Wild. So thanks again, Laura. It really was a pleasure meeting you, and I hope to see you very soon. All right, so let's begin with the book portion, shall we? I'm looking down because I wrote a lot of notes because I got a lot to talk about. And rather than me ramble like I'm doing right now, I'm sticking to a schedule. Okay. So the first book, before I go on, Lemongrass, the unofficial mascot of Viridian Tea Company and Viridian Tea House, wishes you a happy Lunar New Year. Happy Lunar New Year! Yay! Woo! Okay, enough of that. There you go. Are you comfortable, Lemongrass? All right, cool. So the first book I want to talk about is called The Cartographers by Peng Shepherd. So actually, my boyfriend read this first sometime last year, and he pretty much liked it. And I was like, all right, cool. He didn't tell me too much about it because I don't like when people spoil books for me. So I finally got down to reading it, and I devoured it in like 2 days. It was a really interesting concept. Let me just read the inside of the dust jacket for you. What is the purpose of a map? Nell Young's whole life and greatest passion is cartography. Her father, Dr. Daniel Young, is a legend in the field and Nell's personal hero. But she hasn't seen or spoken to him ever since he cruelly fired her and destroyed her reputation after an argument over an old, cheap gas station highway map. But when Dr. Young is found dead in his office at the New York Public Library with the very same seemingly worthless map hidden in his desk, Nell can't resist investigating. To her surprise, she soon discovers that the map is incredibly valuable and exceedingly rare. In fact, she may now have the only copy left in existence because a mysterious collector has been hunting down and destroying every last one, along with anyone who gets in the way. But why? To answer that question, Nell embarks on a dangerous journey to reveal a dark family secret and discovers the true power that lies in maps. Perfect for fans of Joe Hill and V.E. Schwab, The Cartographers is an ode to art and science, history and magic, a spectacularly imaginative modern story about an ancient craft and places still undiscovered. Which, by the way, my boyfriend purchased this book, shout out, at Collected Works in Santa Fe, New Mexico. If you find yourself in New Mexico, go visit this bookstore. They are awesome. Anyway, so yeah, I truly enjoyed the story, and I devoured the book within like 2 days. I think it was 2 days. And yet, it didn't really satisfy me that much. In fact, let's see. I'm going to give it Viridian Tea House's 3 pots of tea. And the reason why I'm giving it 3 pots of tea was it seemed a little bit predictable at times. But to counterclockwise that, Bear was a shocker. I'm not going to say anything more, but Bear was a shocker. I honestly didn't see that coming. But strangely enough, the rest of the story, you kind of can figure it out like halfway. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. What? Bear? Huh. Didn't see that coming. Honestly, really didn't. But other than that, it was an excellently written story. I love the idea of a true purpose of a map and what a map is capable of doing. The camaraderie between the 7 main characters, it felt a little bit too much, but personal preference. It didn't feel like they were actually kind of human. I don't know. It's like something what was missing from the human portion of these people. But I also thought it was kind of, well, I guess I've never been in a situation like this before, but the blow up between Nell and her father, like, it just didn't seem possible. And yes, I know this is fiction, so tout c'est possible, n'est-ce pas? Mais I don't know, it just didn't seem like an argument that would really escalate the way that it did. But again, personal preference. I know a lot of people enjoyed this book, and in fact, I have her first book, the Book of M. I'm hoping to get that from the Arapahoe Library. Yay, Arapahoe Library. I mean, I loved her writing. I love the way that she wrote. The story was just kind of So yeah, for the Cartographers by Peng Shepherd, once again, it gets Viridian Tea House's 3 solid, but 3 pots of tea. So, but thank you, Peng, if you're watching this. Thank you very much for writing this story. It was quite a delight to read and to kind of wonder and imagine. So thank you very much. Like, I'll never look at maps the same way again because of this book. So thank you. All right, so the next book are actually 3 books. And I don't know about you guys, but do you ever get in a situation where you find out about an artist or an author or a singer and they die, and then suddenly you're like, I never engaged in any of what they did. So then you start reading their books or looking at their paintings or listening to their music. That's how I was with Charles Simic. And as you can see, I checked out 3 of his poetry books from Arapahoe Library. Shameless plug. And he died January the 9th of this year. May his memory forever be a blessing. But when I found out that he had died, I said, I've heard of him, but I've never read his work. And I said, well, go ahead and do it now. So like I said, I checked out 3 library books of his poetry, and I read a different book every day. So I took 30 minutes out of my schedule, or an hour, and just sat down and not just read his poetry, but just took it within me, took his words, took his meanings, his descriptions, all within me. Like, I didn't want to be disrupted or interrupted or any of that. I wanted to enjoy this man's writing. And just a little bit, if you didn't know anything about him, he was a Serbian American, and he was named the 2007 Poet Laureate, and he was also the Professor Emeritus of American Literature and Creative Writing at the University of New Hampshire. So if you're looking for a poet to enjoy, you can't go wrong with Charles Simic. And in fact, I have marked a poem in each of these books that I would like to read to you. So this is from Scribbled in the Dark by Charles Simic. And this poem is titled Belladonna. A word that comes to mind tonight, scrolling past red paper lanterns, bead curtains, and oriental carpets, and a softly lit window of a fortune teller. A pretty girl in white evening gown, seated at a small round table, awaiting the arrival of the oracle with tears streaking down her face. A sight the live parrot on the premises may want to comment on from his perch, and the devil himself display tonight to a young monk kneeling in prayer. I remember that particular poem stuck out, and I was like, oh, I really enjoyed that. So that was from Scribbled in the Dark. So the second book is called The Lunatic, and the poem that I would like to read, whoops, where's my mark? Oh, here we go. This one is my all-time favorite so far. It's called The Bamboo Garden. Bad luck, my very own, sit down and listen to me. You make yourself scarce for months at a time, making preparations for some new calamity, then come to shake me awake some dark night. Wiping the sweat off your face, asking for a glass of water, while mumbling something about how a mixed bag of misery and laughter is all that I can expect from a life like mine, while I listen, none the wiser like a blind man. Holding a fortune cookie in a Chinese restaurant and waiting for a waiter to come along and read it to him. But there isn't one coming, 'cause it's late and the bamboo garden is closed. Again, I love the imagery. I absolutely love this poem. This is probably my all-time favorite poem by Charles Simic. And the third is called Come Closer and Listen. And this one is called Meditation in the Gutter. Of things beautiful, things fleeting, like the scent of summer night at the corner of Christopher and Bleecker, silent and deserted. As I stood leaning against a mailbox where years ago I dropped a love letter and never heard back. When a cat walked up to me, one of its paws raised, as if to call my attention to the cunning threads by which our lives are rigged. Just excellent work. So once again, if you're looking for a new poet to read and enjoy, you cannot go wrong with Charles Simic, and all of his works, the ones that I've read, receive 4 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. And once again, I hate the fact that I started reading his work after he died. But You know, there's so many books and so many poets and so many tea makers, and it's just so much in the world, but I'm glad to be reading his work now. So thank you very much. And thanks again, as always, to Arapahoe Library. My particular branch is Sheridan. Love the Sheridan Library. You guys rock. So thanks to the Arapahoe Library for having those books. Thank you so much. And the final book is also from Arapahoe Library. This is one of my favorite children's books. I love this book. Zin, 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 a violin. I love this book. As soon as I saw that the library had it, I was like, I'm checking it out. I read it again, and then I passed it to my boyfriend. He loved it. But it is basically a delightful story about, well, I'll just read the inside of it for you. When this book begins, the trombone is playing all by itself, but soon a trumpet makes a duet, a French horn a trio, and so on until the entire orchestra is assembled on stage. Written in elegant and rhythmic verse and illustrated with playful and flowing artwork. The artwork is incredible, by the way, as you can see in the cover. This unique counting book is the perfect introduction to musical instruments and musical groups. Readers of all ages are sure to shout encore when they reach the final page of this joyous celebration of classical music. You know, and what's interesting is that I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that don't want to listen to classical music because it's like, oh, you know, it's dull, or, you know, who cares, or, you know, it's dead. It's not. And it's so nice to see new life in the world of classical music. Like, I listen to a lot of classical music since playing the violin, and just personal preference, like Vivaldi. Vivaldi is my homeboy. I love some Vivaldi. And I love reading about new classical albums that come out, or even books that deal with classical music for all ages, to show that, you know, it's not a scary kind of music to listen to where you're like, oh God, you know, I don't know anything about it and I can't appreciate it and it's just for rich people. No, it's for everybody. And books like Zin, 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 a violin, it's perfect for children and adults to just kind of get into classical music and be like, encore, just like the book says. So let me show some of the illustrations here. See some of my favorites. Okay, that's the one with the flute. Well, of course, you know, I have to like the violin, because, you know, like you do. And then, what's another illustration that's gorgeous? Oh, actually, when the entire orchestra is together. But check out that illustration. Isn't that just gorgeous? Look at that. But yeah, you cannot go wrong with Zin, 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 a violin by Lloyd Moss and illustrated by Marjorie Priceman. And they get 5 pots of tea from Viridian Tea House. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, this is probably, you know, I think I've said this in other videos, but I'm steadily collecting children's books that I read when I was little. It's like coming back to them, it puts a smile on my face. So I'm definitely going to be buying a copy of this for our library. I just love it. And like I said, if you got little ones and you're trying to introduce them to classical music, you cannot go wrong with Zin, 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 a violin. Or even if you just like a whimsical story yourself, check out this book. And once again, thanks to Arapahoe Library. Yay, thank you. All right, so the book portion is done. So now let's get to the tea. All right, so this is the second sampler that I purchased from Holistic Home and Health. Hello, Madeline, good to see you again. And this one is called Morning Green Tea Sampler. So the ingredients are gunpowder green tea, lemons, ginger. You let it steep for 5 to 7 minutes and enjoy. So one thing about gunpowder green tea, like I love gunpowder green tea. It's the way that they roll the tea leaves so that it looks like gun pellets. But the taste is divine. And it's really kind of cool to see the leaves like slowly unfurl and just release that beautiful fragrance. But I will tell you this, when I opened up the bag, both my boyfriend and I sniffed it and were like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And the color of the tea, after I let it steep for about 5 minutes, the color, beautiful pale yellow, but just beautiful, and the scent, absolutely heaven. So I got my cup right here, and this is one of my new coffee mugs. I picked this up at Gypsy Coffee House in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I was, just a little side note, I was there in Oklahoma visiting my boyfriend's family, and we decided to go to downtown Tulsa. I'd never been before. And we found a really great bookstore, Magic City Books, which I'll talk about them in a future video. And then we also went to Gypsy Coffee House. If you find yourself in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you just need like a really cool place to chill out, go to Gypsy Coffee House. It is quite cool. And the blueberry scones are to die for. But yeah, that's Gypsy Coffee House in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Thanks, guys. I hope to see y'all really soon. So here we go. This is Morning Green Tea by Holistic Home and Health. Oh my. Yeah, this, okay. That's, all right. It's like, talk, Kimberly. This is a good tea to have in the morning. It really is. This, right now, I just got the lemon and the ginger and the green tea, of course, at the base. But just like with that rose hibiscus that I tasted in the last video, all of the flavors, they roll together. No one is predominant. No one is lingering behind. Everybody is just kind of, it's like this. But this is the kind of tea where you drink this in the morning and you're not jittery and wiry like if you're drinking a cup of coffee, but I feel like I'm ready to accomplish things. Now, this is, in the afternoon, but if I had this tea in the morning, I feel like my day would go rather well. So once again, this is Morning Green Tea by Holistic Home and Health. Make sure I get the title right. And the ingredients again are gunpowder green tea, lemons, and ginger. Now with the sampler, I use the entire bag, and I use the entire bag, but this is not a bitter tea. This is not overpowering. I feel uplifted. I feel like if I drank this, like I said, I would have an incredible day. This is excellent. Yeah, I don't know how she does it, but the ingredients flow as one. You get all of the ingredients in that sip, and this is truly divine. So Madeline, thank you again. And if you're going to be at the Magic Makers Market, I'm going to be buying more tea from you. You know what you're doing. It is highly obvious, but yes, I give this 10-20 fingers up. All right, so am I done? Yeah, I think I've covered everything. So once again, much thanks to Lloyd Moss and Marjorie Priceman, Charles Simic, and also Peng Shepherd, and Madeline with Holistic Home and Health, and also Arapahoe Library, and Gypsy Coffee in Tulsa. Oh, that was a lot. Thank y'all so much for creating and doing what you do or did. And I was so excited to do today's show. I was actually going to do it tomorrow, but I was like, no, you know what? I kind of want to do it today because I'm happy about what I'm talking about today. So, excuse me. So let's wrap it up as always with the tea meditation. So if you're new, make sure you have a cup of your favorite tea or some water near you. Find yourself in a comfortable position, either seated, standing up, or lying down. We're going to take 2 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then you can either close your eyes or you can softly focus on an object in front of you. We're just going to focus on our breathing. If you find yourself caught up in your thoughts, that's okay. That's normal. Just pause, say to yourself, thinking, and then return to focusing on the breath. We're going to do it for a number of counts, and then we're going to take 1 deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and then we take a sip of your tea or water. So without further ado, let's begin. And I'm sorry if you can hear the heater, it's white noise. And now as we end this breathing meditation, take 1 deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Open your eyes or come into focus and enjoy a sip of your tea or your water. Delightful. Well, thank you again for watching yet another video from Viridian Tea House. I thank each and every one of you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And that's all I got. So, as always, take care of yourself and each other. Raise your teacup high. And always remember, to drink tea is to enjoy life. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.